Saturday evening, late September, the final act of the greatest summer in the history of hurling. One man and his team travelled to Croke Park to fulfil their destiny. The boys from County Clare had lit up this extraordinary season, but few had predicted that when the long whistle sounded on the 2013 championship, Liam McCarthy would be going back to the banner.
Sit down. Sit down.
Clare hurling was in the doldrums. Without a win in the championship for years, expectations among the banner faithful were at a low ebb. But when Six Mile Bridge's favourite son came back home, he began to sow the seeds for a new era of hope.
Well hit. That's a great pass. Well done.
I suppose I came into the job when Clare were ranked probably 9th or 10th in the country. That's where we saw ourselves. They were after getting a big beating in the championship. My main objective was to get Clare in my own head back into the top 4.
Well, a few seconds now to loosen out, lads. You have to get used to the floor again, all right?
He convinced me that Clare hurling had to become respectable again. We went to a game together in Salt Hill where Clare got a bit of a pasting by Galway, and we came away coming home in the car saying, he was saying to me, this can't happen.
I remember sitting down with Davy in the Woodlands in Adair after Waterford and before Clare. He was talking about winning an All-Ireland within 3 years, and I goes, yeah, it'll probably take 3 years. That was before I got to know these guys.
Stand him up. Well done. Stay this. Always be there for the hoop.
Just the minute he came in, you could feel this breath of fresh air, and this, it was like as if he just breathed a new lease of life into Clare hurling, and I suppose we got there a bit earlier than what he had planned.
Okay, this time we want to start.
I remember showing him a video of the homecoming of 1995. And I remember saying to him, this could be.
But as the team got ready for the 2013 season, Liam McCarthy seemed a long way from the dark winter nights.
You know, whether I knew straight away that we'd win an All-Ireland or not, you know, I didn't. But I knew that we'd be competitive again, something we kind of weren't for a few years.
I got some shock when we did. First week training was hectic. I remember the first training session I went to, after warm-up I thought I was going to get sick.
There's no other way about training. You have to do the work. There's no shortcuts.
He's fight. If Kyle will go up, we'll fight. If Clare go up, we'll fight.
Hurling, I don't think anymore, it's not a hobby. It's not something you're doing as a sideshow. It's my lifestyle now. It's part of everything I do. It affects, you know, my job. It affects my family. It affects everything that I do.
The nights that are tough, the rain, the nights you're looking out the window, you think, God, training tonight, this isn't going to be easy. Like, but it's those nights that you make the sacrifices.
Don't listen to yourself. You're your worst own enemy. Come on. That's good now. That's excellent, Dark. You can all star around your neck. Come on.
You just kind of get through it. Like you try and survive it, and you try and find some sort of benefit in it. Like, but really, it's Davy's trying to break you coming out here, like bringing you to the middle of the forest in Cratlow at 7 in the morning. Like,
well done, lads. Super stuff. Good work.
When you're doing those things, they're not fun, like, as in, they're tough. As in, we went down to Cork, to Kilworth, for an army camp, and it was not enjoyable a few days. Like, lads come back, like, cold and legs and bits and training the next day and stuff, and it's tough, but it was more of them things, like, they're not really for your fitness or anything like that. It's just kind of doing something tough as a team kind of brings a team together. And you've like lads dragging lads through it. Like some lads are obviously better at running than others, and they're pulling them up the hill and stuff like that. Like, and it creates kind of family kind of bond amongst the team. Like, that's important.
We know what we have in the front punch, all right? Morning or two. We have it. And they can say you've gone or whatever. You showed him wrong. That's up to yourself to do that and show him wrong for them. Every single one of you. You love a challenge. Love a challenge.
And the first championship challenge for the banner was a showdown with Davy's former charges. The hard work of winter was done. Now the task was simple. Defeat the Dacia.
I had great times with Waterford. I will not knock that. I won a Munster Championship. I'm very proud of that. But I'm a Clare man, a proud Clare man, and had a job to do. And while I would have respect for Waterford, my one thing to do was beat them. These are days where you go out and show the people close to you what you think of them by letting yourself go and giving everything you have. That's all you can do. Just give everything you have and be as honest as you can and love this situation. 20 seconds.
All the work is done, you can tell. You can nearly feel it in the great way to be confident without you feel like this. Know that all you have to do is just play to your potential. Nothing else. I'm really looking forward to this now, boys.
Proud to keep from Clare. Proud to represent Clare and represent your family. Representing PJ Perry. Representing Joe McGrath. That's who you're representing. That's 100.
As a team, 6 jumps. Stand together. Slow.
Proud Clare right now. Proud Clare right now.
Clare warriors out there now today. Clare warriors out there today. We fight for each other. We beg for each other in this story.
And once again, it's John Conlon driving it from outside the 45-metre line, and another one's gone over. Well, this is the start that Davy Fitzgerald and his team have been looking for. Beautifully in here, Kelly's available, and that's
the quest for a first win in 5 years started well for Clare, but it wasn't long before Waterford showed their quality.
A chance here for Dillon. Oh, what a goal for Jack Dillon! On his championship debut, exactly what the game has required. 8 minutes.
4 down at the break. The Banner had to up the ante in the second half.
Stymied and knocked out, and it's been taken there by Kevin Moran, and they've... Oh, it's back in! They've got something out of it. Shane O'Donnell. Amazing. 114-2, 111. In as far as Dara Conan. And the big giant takes off again. His dad was a great player. This guy is a really talented fellow as well. 3 points from Dara Conan. And now they're looking for more. Pouring that ball in there. This time it's McGrath. And he's finished. Conor McGrath. Second ever championship goal for him. It's caught beautifully by Brendan Bugler. There'll be 2 minutes of added time at the end of all of this as Colm Galvin tries his luck. And he's got a beautiful point. Nicely done by the 20-year-old from Clonlara.
Clare end up winning by 8 points, having been 4 down at half time, so there can be no argument. By far the better team. And
Davy Fitzgerald has masterminded a victory in the Munster Championship for Clare for the first time since 2008.
I think it was really a monkey off our backs. I suppose I'd been around a while, and I don't think I'd been involved in a Munster Championship win, and that was massive to me. And I suppose it just lifted a weight off my shoulders, and maybe lifted a weight off lads' shoulders that suddenly we can compete at this level, and we can win Munster Championship games, and we can beat teams like Waterford.
One of the targets at the start of the year was to win a Munster Championship match. So I suppose when we did win it, there was a lot of euphoria around, and I think the place went a bit too mad as far as I was concerned, just for winning one match. You know what I mean? And when people look back at it, we didn't play that well. We put on a bit of a spurt in the second half to win the match, and we got a few scores and stuff like that. But the place went a bit mad, to tell the truth.
Expectations were rising round the county. Inside the camp, the management were doing all they could to make sure that nobody lost sight of the next hurdle. The Munster semi-final and their 4th meeting of the year with Cork.
I'm asking every one of the 37 to pick up this game for Clare. Ye, and it's not for me, it's for you. Because you deserve to be playing in the big days. We deserve to be in the big days, so we do. We are every bit as good as any of them other counties. Every bit. But does that mean jack shit? It doesn't. It means we have to fight tooth and nail for it. You have to believe in yourself. We're in this together. When we're in here, we're okay. And none of you are ever on your own. And that person man today, he's not on his own, no matter what the story is. But we're in this together. Whether it's one of them for me or not, I promise you that there's an arm and a hand to help you no matter what the story is. Let's do this, okay? This summer's going to be a long one. It's not going to be a 3-week one like people think. We'll fight for this, okay? We'll fight for it. 4 weeks, going to be around the boys. Come on, Conor, let's go.
And lads, Cork are too physical to get killed or not. Everybody!
Do we want to be the Neary guys again? The selectors are wrong, or I was wrong, or I was playing.
Back in the spring, Clare needed extra time and an astonishing 31 points to beat Cork and stay in the top flight of the league. And this rebel resilience came as no surprise to Davy Fitz.
I had gone to see Cork once or twice playing games, and I rated from before the league started. I remember doing a press conference and I said I think Cork are a team to watch, and it turned out that way.
Go for everything. I don't really care who we're playing. You have to go for everything, okay? Dublin feet, okay? I tell you, she's laughing that people talk about dreams. This is called living the dream. Last thing I want you to do for me, I want you to look at each other, right? Are we going to let each other down? I want to hear you outside there. I want you to be like brothers today. This family is sticking together, and we're going on for more. Let's take that on. We'll go at this today with everything. Head in, legs in, hands in, everything.
But this would turn into a tough day out for the banner, as Cork's own young guns went on a scoring spree.
Back first, Conor Lahan, and that is swinging inside the post.
It was a tough game. It was a tough loss to take, being honest. You know, I suppose there was a lot of hype before the game. You know, people were saying Clare getting to Munster final and everything else like that. Maybe they got into, you know, a few lads' heads as well.
Looks on as Anthony Nash drops this in and over the bar against the brace.
Cork just devoured us, like they were just a different animal that day, and they gave us a big wake-up call that day.
Over to this side, there's a chance for Cork to get the first score of the second half. The umpires have a quick consultation, and that's over the bar.
No one really knew what to say. How could you make yourself feel better after this was probably a poor performance, and we had a goal of reaching the Munster final. We came up very short.
Difficult angle, wonderful shot, fantastic score.
That was a big loss. That was something that was really. We weren't going into it arrogant or cocky. You know, we didn't go in with a view that we're just going to tug out there and we'll win it. You have to perform every day you go out. We're doing so much training. It's not acceptable to go out, you know, and to have your peaks and troughs. You know, you have to perform to a certain level.
Cork are on a rampage, and it's another point. Carnedy cutting through the centre. Championship debutant, how are you?
This day in Limerick would be recorded as a procession for Jimmy Barry's boys, but the view from the Clare dugout told a different story.
We wanted to win that Munster semi-final, no doubt about it. I don't think we played as bad as people said we played. We created a lot of chances. There was no way there was 7 or 8 points in that game, not a hope.
I think it was just a matter of the defeat that we sort of had to look at ourselves, and we never did ourselves justice that day. And I suppose that was one thing that we decided we'd never let happen again.
The disappointment of being
I think the lads knew maybe we weren't this bad, but we could improve, we could be better, we could test ourselves, and that by God we were not going to leave our work behind us, and it gave us maybe that bit of an edge to drive on harder. And in hindsight, maybe it was one of the best things that happened to us. In hindsight, it's the reason I believe we're 2013 All-Ireland champions.
It was Laois in the qualifiers. The mood had been dark after the Cork defeat, but the turnaround had begun the very next day with a now famous 6 Mile Bridge summit where the refreshments were on the house.
Yeah, there's the famous My Waddy and Biscuits meeting now at this stage, I think, but it was just we just got a call the day after the game, and Davy said, look, we'll come down to my house and we'll meet up as a group and we'll just have a chat.
We were all kind of expecting a meeting of some sort, like, but at his house I was kind of surprised when he called us there. Like, he was just like, well, tell us what you think went wrong the last day and what we're going to do to make it right over the next couple of months, because that's how long we're going to be in the championship.
Men need it today now. They think they're going to bully everyone outside there. Men need it today. Are you prepared to win the dirty balls? You're going to get hit today. You got to take them hits, get that
and the slither had barely been thrown in when Davy soon realised that not everyone had left the Cork defeat behind.
We were questioned. I can remember after 2 minutes that day, a fella stood up right behind me and roared at Venom. Fitzgerald, you haven't a clue, you're ruining Clare hurling. Roaring at me. Now, there's very little you can do about something like that. But this was only 2 minutes into a game, so it was. I remember thinking to myself, what a clown. Fellas like that, my only message to be them, stop being selfish. Just support the team, good and bad.
We wanted to show the Clare people, I suppose, that day that this team wasn't finished for the year.
As the game unfolded, Clare were irresistible, with scores coming from all over the park, all except one corner.
I think every player bar one scored that day. Ironically, Donald Donovan was, I think, the only player that I remember that didn't get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I got slated for that, but I took that all in good fun because I know everyone who was slagging was just a bit of a joke. I just don't think about scoring too much. If I can keep my man reasonably quiet, that's my job.
It was another man who would become a scene stealer in September who wrapped things up with a goal. Next up for the banner were Wexford and the fright of their lives.
Smartly down through the centre, collected beautifully by Shane O'Donnell. He loves getting goals, and he's got another one. That's 3 championship goals this season.
On a Saturday evening in Semple, Clare were on top of the Slaney-siders from the off, and a comfortable victory looked on the cards.
Looking for movement, getting that movement from Shane O'Donnell.
If I'm being totally honest about it, I didn't believe we were under any pressure whatsoever playing them. I thought Wexford were competitive, they were good, but we were 5 and 6 points up.
On by Collins. This is the way Davy Fitzgerald wants to see them play, and Colin Ryan finishes this attack. Only 3 players were involved in it. Dodged around a couple of would-be challenges before getting his shot in and putting it over the bar. Beautiful hurling by Clare and John Conlon.
Clare maintained their lead in the second half, but before long, the wheels started to come off.
I think Podge, in the second half, there was one play, I'm not sure if McGrath gave it to Podge anyway, but Podge gave it to me straight in front of the goals. And I went shot and goalie saved it, and it broke my heart. Like, we needed the goal. Things were going bad. We were really not playing at all in the second half. Like, we just shut down. And, like, sure, the way it ended was just ridiculous.
Back comes Kieran Kenny. Big one down to Guiney. Jersey pulled. Only a goal between them. He scored. The level. Amazing. And he's decided that's it.
It was actually a shock. I could not believe when the whistle went that we were level. It took me 2 or 3 minutes even to get my own head right after that. What the hell is after happening here?
If the Claremen could scarcely fathom that they now faced extra time, what Davy said next was truly beyond belief.
Davy stood up and he goes, if we win this game, we'll win the All-Ireland. And when we're looking around at Cullen Galvin, I suppose, looking at me, and he kind of went, what's this fella on about? We're here in extra time, we're struggling to beat Wexford. Does this fella think we're going to compete?
There were definitely some heads looking around, I'm sure, if I was to examine some of the body language in there, but yeah, it was a defining moment for us anyway.
And my God, did they come out and turn it on. Like, they showed it.
And the captain once again sets Clare on another attack. A third attack started this second half. Conor McGrath going this way, slipping it inside. McInerney, one-handed. It's in the net. Cathal McInerney, the substitute. Beautifully in as far as Conor McGrath. Nicely crafted move. Now where's he going to finish here? Hand passed. And another one by Cathal McInerney. He's got 2. Well, Davy Fitzgerald has certainly got a great reaction from his players during extra time. They're on their way to the quarterfinals, Clare. They have had a 10-point victory after extra time. That's where they really came good once again, and they finish here with the final scoreline reading Clare 3 goals and 24 points, Wexford 1 goal and 20.
Next up were last year's All-Ireland finalist Galway. The tribesmen had been humbled by the Dubs in Leinster and were fancied to bounce back against the Banner in Thurles. As usual, Davy had other ideas.
This is what hurling's about. If I go over, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And you make the mistake. It'll be stuck in the back of the net. Might be stuck in the... We'll keep coming back. That's what defines people. That's what defines character. Character is what wins games. Character.
No, we weren't fancy to beat Galway, and we couldn't figure that out. Like, we thought we had a decent chance against them.
You're born to do this. You're ready for this, okay? And I want to see you just letting go today, playing with that freedom. You know what happened in Salt Hill a few years ago. You know how as a clear person we felt walking out there. If you get that sniff, go for it. Just don't stop. Just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Davey kept telling us, listen, you don't realise how good you are, you don't realise what you can do this year, and probably stuck with us. Yeah, he's thinking we come in All Ireland, like, but no, he was dead right. You know, he kept telling us, it's the one thing he did all year. He kept telling us that he believed in us.
You can keep going, because that's what we are in Clare. We're warriors with the training we've done. Joe, off you go. Come on!
McGrath now, tight angle, gets his shot in, and he's done really well. Up towards Joe Canning, breaks it down to himself, comes. Cian Dillon's after him, can't get to him. Canning strikes beautifully over his...
It was an evenly matched contest early on, but it wasn't long before the men in saffron and blue began to find their rhythm.
Lost his Hurley, hand passed across towards Patch Collins. 20 metres out, there's a score here, and Patch Collins puts it over the bar. And it all came from that long clearance and the brilliant catch by Dara Conan.
Yeah, I suppose that was the day really people kind of really stood up and started to take notice of this Clare team and the way we were playing.
Conor McGrath playing it back. Neat work, clever play, Patch Collins again. And that's gone over the bar. And he is revelling in the freedom he is getting around the middle of the park right now.
It was an enjoyable enough game for me. I don't know where my mind was at. I was a bit, I suppose that backward hand pass was a bit flamboyant. If I got over the sideline, I could have been taken off. It could have been the end of my year. So I was looking away, panned out.
Kelly off his left-hand side, down to a two-man inside forward line. Conor McGrath there, has a support player, doesn't need him. It's McGrath, and McGrath. It's a goal for Clare. On they go once again, Ryan. Oh, over the bar it's gone. Not just a very good free taker.
Turning over Galway, who 12 months previous had, pipped, had gone very close to pipping Kilkenny in an All-Ireland final. So, like, that was no mean feat, and that was the day that this team really came of age and realised that we were good enough to be on the big stage.
Clare still ahead in this match by 4 points. They look for another one. Bugler strikes and he's put it over the bar. How about that for a rallying score? This is Colin Ryan. 2 minutes of added time about to be played. We're into 2.5 minutes. The final pieces of action here, and that is Colin Ryan from Newmarket on Fergus, who has got his 9th point of this game. A thrilling victory now, surely it is for Clare. And Davy Fitzgerald goes and shakes the hand of Anthony Cunningham and now prepares for a semi-final and gets down the tunnel quickly.
And even after we beat Galway, it was how badly Galway played rather than how well Clare played. I thought, like, the Galway game, we didn't get any credit for it, but that, that's fine.
This journey is only halfway over, and I'm serious about this. I'm not here to get the semi-finals or quarter-finals. I am here to make you fulfil a dream. Now, the dream can only be fulfilled if we can work harder than that. Can we bring it another notch against Limerick? We have another fight, and fight, come on, we're going to take that fight and go on. You telling me anyone that championship is better than what we are? We've no prima donnas, and I love that. Alright? I am not going to let you take the foot off the gas, everyone here. We are not going to take the foot off the gas. And you take heart from today. Every time you come under pressure, you fought your way out of it. Okay? And Carl Mack, that was for you today, buddy, alright? That was for you. And Tom was up and down. Well done, buddy.
Davy's boys were edging closer to their dream. As they made their way to the capital for their first appearance in headquarters, the recent triumph of their next-door neighbours was a vivid memory for the players.
It's all over. Limerick are the Munster champions 2013, and nobody can take it away from them.
And you know, at home that day I can remember watching the Munster final, and you know, I was so envious of those Limerick guys. I suppose as a Clare man, you'd only dream of having a day something similar to that.
And you get a message off Brendan Buglet saying, lads, how jealous are you of this right now? You see them running out in the field, getting surrounded by their fans, and it's just something you dream of. Like, you know, it's listen, we might get our chance against these guys, you never know yet.
Get the best out of ourselves, lads. I can guarantee you that will be good enough today.
Everybody go into just stand where you are. Just stand where you are. Now you all know the atmosphere went into, you couldn't ask for better. The one thing I'd encourage you today, when you get up and alright, we'll take it out, we'll get up and we'll show it. I want you to show it in your body language how much playing for Clare means to you, alright? And you don't get involved in anything, you just show everyone out there that you hit me when I'm coming back. Alright? Get a score, we get on to one another. I want you to use each other out there today. Bogner will get on to Kyman. Colin Ryan will get on to Tony Kelly. Kelly will get back on to Dara. We drive each other.
Set the tone on it. Set the tone.
Guys, there's no tactics for me. I love the buoyancy. I've never worked with a team like these, no matter what happens. I've never worked with a team. And the only thing I'm asking from my heart is that you go and let yourself.
We're all in this together now.
The big days are what you want, you know, and we have had them, I suppose, few and far between in Clare in recent years, and it's what you live for. It's, you know, you want the 60 or 80,000 people watching you. You want to be performing on the big day, and it was brilliant, I suppose, that it was Limerick too.
It's a great ball by Colin Ryan across here as far as Pat Donlan. He punches the air with delight. He gets the opening score of this game after 2.5 minutes. He's swept back by Gavin O'Mahony. On here as far as Graham Mulcahy. Mulcahy, well stopped by the goalkeeper. Pat Kelly does brilliantly.
And inspired by the heroics of the man from Ina Kilnamona, the banner really let loose.
But it's Tony Kelly who gets it back, and Tony Kelly puts it over the bar. Brilliantly done by one of the most gifted, most crafty young hurlers. Ryan from his own 65-metre line, dangerously in there, all the way in. Collins, goalkeeper on the ground, it's a goal!
Like, the younger lads just have no inhibitions. They just don't care what's going on. They just hurl off the cuff, and I think it rubs off on everybody. It's just fantastic to be part of. It sort of brings you back to when you're 7 and 8 pucking a ball off a wall and down the field. There's no game plan, there's no specific way you have to hurl.
Beautifully on as far as Tony Kelly steals a march brilliantly past Paul Brown, drives it and puts it over the bar. This is a wonderful spell by Clare, trying to build on what they've achieved so far. Clare getting it back, Tony Kelly. Beautiful pick-up and an equally superb shot. 3 points for Kelly. That's a great catch by Tony Kelly. Off he goes again. Quick look over his shoulder to see anybody near him. Nobody near him. They can't get to him. He's playing brilliantly, but then he is a brilliant player. 4 points for Tony Kelly, 2 in each half. As far as Colin Ryan, and casually, gracefully slotting it over for his 11th point, and they're on their way to the All-Ireland final. It's Clare who have beaten Limerick. It's a first Clare final for 11 years. What an amazing story, what an amazing performance. Davy Fitzgerald and John Allen shake hands.
It was nice to get over for me personally, I remember, because I would have been in the school with a lot of those Limerick guys as well, so it was kind of nice to get one over on them as well.
Years ago it was Kilkenny in the opposite corner. This year it's going to be Cork.
I thought we played all right against Limerick. I didn't think it was our best display. I really didn't. I thought we played okay. I think we can be better than what we played against Limerick.
Okay, the maturity he showed today was incredible. So it was, when we come under pressure. The fight and the courage he showed was unbelievable. That's what hurling is about. You trained hard, you worked hard, you deserve that. But the job is only half done. The difference between playing in All-Ireland and winning All-Ireland is the Atlantic Ocean. I showed you that little snippet at the start of the year. We are 70 minutes away from doing that. But most of all, the hurt that we felt after Cork beating us. I can recall that night in 6 Mile Bridge and having to ring you that day and get you to my house, and we having that chat below, and we were in a pretty low place. We're not here to take part in September. We're not here to take part in it. We are here to make history, all right?
Final fever had gripped the Banner County, with thousands of the Clare faithful filling Cusack Park to watch Davy and the boys hard at work.
Yeah, it explodes. It absolutely explodes, and you know, I suppose people that would never have had an interest in hurling are still coming up to you, you know, asking you how you are and how things are going. But it's great.
But in the inner sanctum, nobody was getting carried away with the hype.
We had a job to do, which was to beat Cork. And that was our focus, was to beat Cork.
The second Sunday in September, the most iconic occasion in Irish sport, watched all over the world. For the boys from the Banner, though, this was just another game of hurling.
What makes it different there? Pitch any bigger? No? It's the same size. Wall's bigger, no? Still got to hit the same targets. Only one right? It's only 15 of them. It's hard to do. This is the same thing as we've been doing all year. Alright? Trust me. Trust me. Wake up tomorrow and say, I feel it. And I let myself go.
Make it happen today.
Don't wait for it to happen. Make things happen.
Did you take your breaks?
Yeah, bro. Lads, we all have those games for the last 10 minutes is coming or a few points down, and you wish it was the first 5 minutes again. You wish you could have done something differently. We don't do that today. The first minute is the same as the last minute. This is for the year. Your life is on the the first minute. Remember something. Come on, we got work to lads. Remember that.
We are going to win this. No matter what happens this year, we're going to fight the end. We are a team that's good when the days are big.
Even going out in the stadium, like a lot of people were saying to me, don't look around now, but the first thing I did when I came out is I looked around and took it all in and just said, you know, our final day now, like, you know, you won't play many of them, I'd say, so enjoy it, like, and that was kind of the plan.
The stage was set for the 5th meeting of these now familiar foes. They'd had some ferocious battles all year. This one would turn out to be a classic.
It's the second All-Munster All-Ireland final, the first for 16 years, and Brian Gavin from Offaly gets the match underway, and it's Cork who will play from left to right in the first half. And Dara Conan has this opening shot, looking at the first point, and he's got it.
Here's Seamus Harnedy now with a chance.
Harnedy swinging it off his left, and that one's got over the bar, and it's the opening point for Cork in this match. Back here as far as John Conlon. Conlon, 65 metres out from his target. It's a lovely looking shot, and it's gone over the bar. What a boost that is for John Conlon. Brian Murphy, but under pressure now, and the pressure being exerted by Tony Kelly. Ever the danger. Tricky angle for him. Wonderful score. Beautiful point by Tony Kelly. Nash with 5 points already in this year's championship. Rising, striking off the goalkeeper. I think it went up too high in the air for the goalkeeper. And now the goalkeeper for Cork is out of position. And here comes Podge Collins. And Podge Collins drops this one over the bar. A point for Clare.
It was hectic. It was just, I suppose, the ball is going from one end of the field to the other. There were scores. I'd say every time there was an attack, there was nearly a score. And I think it's an All-Ireland final probably that had everything.
It's Conor McGrath switching his legs this way and that, and then over the bar. That's a beautifully worked point. That's this new Clare hurling team at their very best.
Clare were well on top of this game, but they just couldn't shake off the Rebels.
And this time it's gone over the bar, and another point from play for Cork. This is one handed away by Conor O'Sullivan. Back out as far as a free Patrick Horgan. Nobody got near him. He has a go. He drives it beautifully over the bar. A 7th for Pat Horgan. Hasn't scored so far, and Lehan gets away. O'Connor's after him, but Lehan has the chance and he strikes a brilliant goal. It's his first ever championship goal, and it comes after 40 minutes, and now Cork will feel they're in with a renewed chance.
I suppose we were thinking, like, how well do you have to play to actually beat him?
As far as Podge Collins, change of direction, and then goes forward, impishly carrying it this way and that, like an egg and spoon race, finally hitting it beautifully onto the netting and over the bar. How about that? Might come yet. Pat Donlan now. Donlan 30 metres out. Plays it beautifully outside towards McGrath. There's work to do here, and he takes a point. Beautiful score by Conor McGrath. That's good, mature play by Clare. So this is John Conlon making a better angle for himself, and a really good score by Conlon.
Once again, Clare pulled clear. Once again, Cork came back.
This is beautifully caught by Seamus Harnedy. The first one I think he's caught, and he puts it over the bar. Great plucky play here by Seamus Harnedy, the 22-year-old. Trying to break it down. It comes down towards Luke O'Farrell, and he is fairly well flattened. Free in from 20 metres out. Now, Anthony Nash about to take this. So Nash, 57 minutes into the game. Cork need a goal. He's got it! Second ever championship goal for Anthony Nash. And now it's a 2-point game. That's a brilliant piece of catching there by Conor Ryan. He's had a superb match. Can he finish it off with a point here? What about that wonderful score? Oh, it's his first ever in the championship. It is Moylan, Stephen Moylan, his first chance. Back in here, as far as Park Cronin. A goal! Park Cronin, only chance he's had so far in this game, and the teams are level with 64 minutes gone.
And you couldn't put him away, so you couldn't.
And there are going to be 2 minutes of added time now, and we're into that, as you can see already, with the match tied, tantalisingly so. Chris Joyce cut in. Onto it, here comes Horgan. Can he be the match winner? Will this be the winner of the All-Ireland? It's over the bar! Patrick Horgan gets a 10th.
I thought the All-Ireland was gone from us.
Jimmy Barry Murphy looks like he's done it.
My heart fell to the bottom of my stomach at that stage. I thought it was over.
I went into shock. I just went looking for the ball. I was just like, it can't end like this, you know.
To win the championship,
Yeah, the whistle in his mouth. It was 72 minutes on the clock. He thought, this is it.
Clare won one more chance.
My first thought was just give us a chance, just give us a chance.
Connor, inside it comes here.
If you could pick any fella on the panel from the 1 to 34, Donny be 34, so you'd only bring on David try and hit the leveler.
Inside it comes here.
I wouldn't be very comfortable up there now, and in training it wouldn't always go over the bar when we do the shooting drills.
I defend off challenges. Back out it comes once again to Donald O'Donovan. They would deserve a draw. They get a draw.
Yeah, it went over. I was about as surprised as everyone else, I'd say.
But puts it over the bar. And Davy...
How he arrived up there, I have no idea. No idea. But by jeez, I'm glad he did.
I think we'll be back here. The referee has allowed the quick puck out to be taken. It's still in play no longer. It's all over. And it's ended in a magnificent draw at Croke Park. For the second year in a row, the teams in the final have to come back and do it all again.
We had the game lost with a minute to go, and we levelled it. So going in, we were just absolutely thrilled that we had another shot at this. And who gets to play in 2 All-Ireland finals in a month?
You thought we were in Kinston last time? Why, Jesus! You haven't seen nothing yet.
As the management turned up the heat, a bit-part player was making a case for a leading role.
There's balls like flying across me, and I'd like just throw my hurley at him, and it just come straight into my hand, like, and I was just like, what is going on? Can't do any wrong, that kind of thing.
When did we decide to bring Shannon O'Donnell in? It would have been a number of days before the final.
Well done, shut up!
To be honest, he left us with no other option but to pick him.
And we decided not to tell Shane then until the Saturday. And I said, listen, you're not going to start, even though I knew he was starting.
Everything we have out of us now the next day. Everything. And the head everything. Right, look. Ah! This is the way we go on. We attack everything. The might hit us for a goal, please. What are we doing? Coming back! We need to hit us for another one. Coming back.
As they made their now familiar trek to Dublin for the replay, the manager had a hunch on how this game would pan out.
I was talking to one of my friends the day before, and I said, I think there's going to be a lot of goals tomorrow. We need to hit the net.
And with just a couple of hours to go until throw-in, Davy played his trump card.
I think he was the only one that didn't know he was starting, and he genuinely didn't know he was starting.
We went to St. Pat's and we just poked around for 5-10 minutes. Davey just called me over, basically, called me outside and just told me. I was a small bit nervous, but I was so excited. I was so happy to start.
You could see his face light up, and I don't know, even myself, I found it a bit emotional even telling him, because you think the world of this young guy, and here he is, you're throwing him in full forward in that Ireland final, and it was a big ask, and by God, was he ready for what?
Sit down for 10 seconds, sit down. Sit down! Get right height beside each other now. Right height beside each other. You're already touching off the next better. Okay. I want you to think 30 seconds of what you want to do outside there. Take the next 30 seconds and see yourself attacking it. See yourselves coming back. See yourselves going ahead. See everything for the next 30 seconds now. I want you to think of the people that mean anything to you in your life. And I want you to say it to yourself. Look, see them in the eyes and say, I'm going to let myself go for you. That's all you can do. 10 seconds. The people that mean anything to you. Okay, get up around me. We're ready for it. Okay, folks. 3 deep breaths.
Okay, hang it down.
Come on, let's get ready to go.
Down. Up. Last one. Down. Up. Free ball.
Every position. Look after the fella around you. Play for that jersey. Little things. And it's what will make us stronger out there. The last thing I'll say to you, trust in each other. Wear that jersey with pride. And let's go and beat them.
Remember, lads, we've more for unity, self-belief, and work rate.
Come on. Come on.
The Banner versus the Rebels. Take 6. The first ever Saturday final. Their last meeting had everything. This one would be even better.
Well, the band haven't got off yet, and eventually the referee just decides throw the ball in and let's get on with it.
How did I find it? I found it pretty good, I suppose.
In as far as the man they brought in for this, Shane O'Donnell in place of Dara Conan, trying the shot, and that one has gone over the bar. 2 attacks, 2 points. Pursued here by a couple of Cork players. One of them is Daniel Carney. Can he catch up with him? What a run through the centre here. Across towards O'Donnell, and O'Donnell goals! This is the man they brought in because of his real goal threat. His 4th championship goal. Here comes Colin Galvin from 65 metres out. Conor O'Sullivan comes across to try and cut it out, but that first touch has to be good because Conor McGrath is in immediately. He's got a support player as well, and there's another goal, and he's done it again. Amazingly, Shane O'Donnell with 2 in the opening 12 and a half minutes.
It's no fluke. He just puts the head down and he only wants one thing, and that's a goal.
Now what can Anthony Nash do? Onto the 13-metre line, and he's got to go. Somehow he squeezed it in. Drives it back in there. 2 Cork players go for the one ball, and between them they've missed it, and O'Donnell is in for a hat-trick. O'Donnell has got it. Horrible defending, brilliant finishing by Shane O'Donnell.
When that ball went in, I spent, I'd say, about 5 seconds. About 5 seconds lying on the ground, just thinking, this is insane. And then I got back up and it was just going back into the game.
Podge Collins feeding it here as far as Tony Kelly, right on the sideline. Trying to get loose here, and he does so, succeeds brilliantly. Got a lovely bit of force behind that. Brilliant accuracy. He's some player.
A fine score from the hurler of the year was not enough to stem the tide of a Cork comeback. as the Rebels incredibly clawed their way back into the game.
He's taking a long time over it, Pat Horgan, giving himself every opportunity and putting it over the bar.
Clare, Cork really all the momentum with them now. What a comeback. Game looked over earlier on in the first half, and now there's only a point in the game, is there?
Pat Horgan puts over another one.
They came out gunning for us, like, and they spent 10 or 15 minutes dominating the game, like, scoring at will, like, and we were just trying to get some sort of foothold.
Towards Shane O'Donnell, gets away from Shane O'Neill. Onto it he comes, threatens danger. O'Neill's on the ground, and O'Donnell composes himself and fires it up and over the bar. 3 goals and 2 points now for Shane O'Donnell, point of this final, and who now could get the latest, and he has, and now that might certainly begin to settle things down.
But Clare knew by now that nothing is ever settled against this Cork team.
Here's a chance. Lehan stopped, 3 men waiting for it. Harnedy scores! First ever championship goal for Seamus Harnedy, coming in the 60th minute. Al McInerney.
There was a bunch of people gathered around 45 and got a lucky pick up to bring me out of the bunch.
But emerging from it is Conor McGrath, and he means danger. He's got a player over. He buries it in the back of the Cork net. Conor McGrath. 62 minutes are gone.
If I hadn't scored, I think I'd have been shot back in Clare for not passing inside to Shane O'Donnell if it hadn't worked out.
And Clare come again, and Tony Kelly takes off. Kenny's after him, can't get to him. Kelly tries to knock it over the bar and succeeds. 3 for him, another one for Clare. They lead by 4. Up as far as Shane O'Donnell. Got 1 point in the second half to go with the 3-1 he got in the first 35 minutes. Leading the Cork defence, a merry dance and putting it over. It's a dream day for him.
Clare were now 6 ahead of Cork. Surely they had them beaten now.
They're still going, Cork, still looking for it. And they've got it! Stephen Moylan.
Now there were just 3 points in it. With time ticking away, another Cork goal would mean extra time.
And he gets the ball away far enough. 40 seconds to go. Down to the man who was left out, Dara Conan. They're ahead by 3, Clare. Looking to try and put it over the bar. Very tight angle. He might get a chance here. He does. He walks it all the way in.
I think, to be quite honest, it was only when Derek stuck the ball in the back of the net that we really realised that, you know, we had gone 6 points up. I just looked up at the clock, and I think there was 72 minutes gone or something at that stage, and I was just looking at it going, God, there's absolutely no chance they can get 2 goals now here again.
It's all over. It's all over. Clare are the champions. Davy Fitzgerald has done it. It's taken a replay. It's taken a magnificent match. One of the great finals. And he could scarcely believe it. But he's achieved wonders with this young team. They've come from the bottom of the pack in the last few years.
1995 for me was so special. I always said to myself afterwards, I'd love just one more go to see what it was like, and I'm so happy for the boys that they got that as well. It was unreal for me to experience it a second time.
Davy Fitzgerald, centre stage.
The greatest moment of my life with all my best friends out on the pitch, like, and it still hasn't clicked in what I actually did personally, but it doesn't really matter. Like, we won the All-Ireland.
In a loser's dressing room in 2002, I couldn't get up off the floor. It's the deflation. I know everyone says a great year you did, but it's not. It's a winner's game.
It's such a weird feeling. You feel like you're watching yourself doing it. You feel like you're disconnected from it. You feel like it's been played out in front of you, and you kind of, it takes you a while to process it, that it was actually me there, and that I was going up the steps at the end of the game.
Clare are the All-Ireland champions of 2013, the champions for the 4th time. What an achievement. Davy Fitzgerald has done it with his wonderfully talented group of young players.
I had seen Paddy Donlan doing that in my own mind. Like, no one would have known that. I would have, over the last number of months, dreamt of him doing that.
An Carnshaw, ag Glocka, there's an Fairlawn, has come out, Clare!
To win All Ireland with them, it's the equivalent of winning like something like that with your family. Like, my brother was on the panel now, and we lifted Lee McCarthy together, and like it was just a special moment.
I couldn't control myself. I burst into tears, you know, and I like, you know, which wouldn't happen to me too often.
Just looking around, everyone just couldn't believe it. Looking up into the stand, there was people crying, laughing, jumping around. It was unbelievable. And myself and Pat O'Connor were talking about it, and we were just saying, this isn't right. Like, Clare All-Ireland champions. If you look 2 or 3 years ago, we were nowhere. Like.
I just kind of thought to myself, what's going on here? Like, how have we really done this? I remember meeting Paul Connacht, and he's like, do you believe this? And I was like, not for a second.
Yeah, I just didn't want to leave Croke Park. Lights and fans, all the Clare fans roaring at you, like Lee McCarthy trolling around the pitch, like, and it was just something that you had to just take a minute or two to yourself, like, to get your head around.
And that was only the start of the session, as the all-star wing-back made good on a promise to the team doctor, Pádraig Quinn.
I was inside in the dressing room taking the whole thing in, and next thing this accordion appeared.
This cup was coming home for the 4th time in our history, in 129 years or whatever it is. 4th time.
I say I'm gobsmacked is unreal. I just can't believe the turnout, but I wouldn't expect any place else, only from 6 mile bridge.
Seen all the faces that are at all your club games since you were 8 and 9, and even when we were leaving Cratloe, there was a kid out on the road, Liam Foley, his name, and he couldn't come down to the pitch. And he's waving the bus, and we brought Lee McCarthy out to him and took a photo with him, and the father even sent me a letter to say how much it meant to them. Like, it was like winning a Lee McCarthy for them.
And it's great to see so many young kids now who are on Clare with Clare jersey, and the same as we were inspired by the 95-97 teams. Like, you'd hope that kids will be inspired by this team now, and that hurling will remain strong, and we won't have to wait as long again for our next All-Ireland after this.
I suppose the more people you meet, the more it dawns on you what you've done for Clare hurling, or what you've done, you know, for a county that, you know, maybe doesn't always get this. And can you wake up some morning and you'll realise that it wasn't all a dream, you are All-Ireland champions.
Coming down on the bus and you have the bonfires out, and people just like kind of parking their cars up on the side of dual carriageway just to wave to the bus when you go by, and it's just absolutely crazy.
I don't even know what normal is anymore. Like, it's completely different, like completely different.
To just see the joy that it's brought to so many people. When our bus, the open top bus, turned the corner there at the General Hospital and you looked out onto the fair green and you seen 30,000 people, you knew that what you were after doing, what you were after being involved in, had done something special for the Clare people, and you know, that's tradition and that's love.
The dream is alive, but the one thing I'm certain about is that we're All-Ireland champions 2013, and that can never ever be changed. That's fact.